I love living on the central coast of California, but I've watched people move here and then realize when it's too late that they misunderstood how this area actually works. Before you move here, there are a few things you need to know and understand that don't show up in listing photos. So we're going to dive into the map and we're going to cover some important need to know things about moving to the central coast. So now we're looking at the Google map. So we have layers, we can dive in and we will dive in and get deep into this map. But this is ultimately the central coast of California, at least the territory that I am actively in real estate in, and that I've actually worked in and lived in for over 20 years, about 23 years now. And so up here at the very top of the area is Paso Robles. That's basically the northernmost town in the county of San Luis Obispo, California. So we cover all of San Luis Obispo County. Santa Barbara County starts right here at Santa Maria. And then so I also cover Santa Maria, which is a big town, Orcutt, which is a southern suburb of Santa Maria, Vandenberg Space Force Base. It used to be called Air Force Base. Now it's Space Force Base. So we have a lot of engineers moving in this direction. And then all the way down to Lompoc, which is pretty deep into Santa Barbara. So speaking of which, now that we're looking at Lompoc here, let's talk about commutes. If you're looking to move to the Central Coast, it's bigger than it appears. And so I just did some quick calculations on my phone. And from Lompoc to Paso Robles, which is Paso is right up here, it's 90 miles. Lompoc to Santa Maria, 30 miles. Lompoc to San Luis Obispo is 60 miles. So it gives you an idea how big this territory is. Basically about 100 miles long and a few miles deep. Even though the Central Coast does go way out here to the east, and I have sold houses as far out as Taft and New Koyama, realistically, our Central Coast is right here from about 100 miles north and south, and then just a few miles inland. So question number one about your commute. Where are you going to work? If you're moving here, are you working? Are you working from home? Are you working at the Space Force Base? PG&E is a big hiring company in Avila Beach. The colleges up in San Luis Obispo. So where are you going to live? So if you know that you're going to be moving to San Luis Obispo, well, then we want to keep you pretty close to San Luis Obispo for your commute. We have some definite little rush minutes or short bits rush hour along the 101. One of them is up in San Luis Obispo. We get bottlenecked in San Luis Obispo. We get bottlenecked here in Pismo Beach, both in the morning and in the evening. Once we come down the 101 and this opens up, but once you can see the ocean right here, people stop and they look and they want to stare at the ocean, and it causes accidents. It slows traffic down. We get a big slowdown here. We also about 5:30, we get a real big slowdown coming out of San Luis Obispo County and into Santa Maria. So down around Nipomo and Santa Maria, you can get clogged up in traffic there. So that's really important. Again, so if you're working in San Luis Obispo, you probably want to live somewhere close by. So once you know where you're going to go, then you want to figure out your commute, and then we need to find the right microclimate for you. So let's talk about microclimates. You can see this is a big territory. Again, it's about 100 miles, top to bottom. And what really drives our weather here is the Pacific Ocean, of course. And so when you're really close to the ocean, we have some really mild Mediterranean climates here along the ocean. So you want to consider that. Oh, I'm going to work in San Luis Obispo, but I don't like living in the fog and I don't want to be living where it's cool all year round. So that's going to leave out some of these areas like Pismo Beach is cool and foggy. Morro Bay, cool and foggy as well. Same with Cayucas and Cambria up here along the coast. We have Los Osos here by Morro Bay as well. There's not much here. This is mostly Avila Beach is out here, but a lot of this area is the PG&E area. So this part of the coast is not really used that much. So our cool climates are along the coast. Now, if you prefer to be warmer, then you just have to go inland. So San Luis Obispo has been known as one of the warmest, sunniest, happiest places, not only in California, but in the whole nation. So San Luis Obispo is great. It's far enough inland that they don't get a lot of fog. They get lots of sunny days, and it's significantly warmer there than it is on the coast. So speaking of the climate, so along the coast here in the summertime, it's nice and cool, maybe in the 60s. And then if that doesn't work for you, you can go up north. You can go up to San Luis Obispo. When it's 60 degrees here in Pismo Beach in the summertime, San Luis Obispo can be 80 degrees. If that's not warm enough for you, keep going north. Yourself up to Atascadero. This part of Highway 101 is called the grade. I do air quotes and I kind of laugh at that because when I did move here about 23 years ago, I came from Colorado. In the Rocky Mountains are real, legitimate, big mountains. And this grade is more like a speed bump compared to the Rockies. But it is called the grade. It's the elevation difference is pretty significant enough that after you've lived here for a long period of time, that your ears might pop a little bit and you might feel that pressure change going up and over the grade. But once you do get up and over that grade, that's a huge change in microclimate. So in the summertime, once you're over that grade, you're in Santa Margarita, you're heading up to Templeton, Atascadero, Paso Robles, all those places in the summertime, really warm. So we're talking mid 80s up into the hundreds. It's not unusual up in Paso Robles and Atascadero to be 100 degrees for a significant part of the summertime. So you get to choose your climate, and that is the price of homes. Homes are in high demand here. They don't stay on the market very long, and they tend to be quite expensive. Also, we tend to see the prices go up the closer we get to the beach. Also, the closer we get to the beach, we see lot sizes get smaller, and there's more condensed, densely populated areas along the coast than there are in different areas. So, what is your budget? That's going to be a huge thing when you are moving here. We want to know what your budget is. We want to know what is important to you when you're moving. I have a questionnaire for this, so if you are looking to make a move, let me know. The best thing you can do is fill out my questionnaire. We need to know your price point. We need to know how big of a house do you want. Do you want a house that requires maintenance, a house with a yard, with a pool? Or would you rather live in a condo where you don't do any maintenance at all? Are schools important? Is commute important? All of these are really big factors when you are deciding to move to the Central Coast. And when people don't have the answers, a lot of times I will advise them as their realtor, as their real estate advisor. If you don't know if you're moving here for a long period of time, I suggest let's get you a rental house. We'll rent you a place for 6 months or a year while you figure all of this out. Because the last thing we want to do is put you into Pismo Beach in the summertime when it's cool and foggy, and then all of a sudden it's Thanksgiving and it's warm and sunny in Pismo. You go, wait a minute. Hey, nobody ever told me it's going to be warm and sunny in the wintertime. I want my fog back. If you've been to the Central Coast and you understand these climates and you understand the proximity, then that helps. I'm going to be a lot more comfortable putting you into a purchase situation for buying a home. But if you don't know, let's take our time. Come on out and visit. I'll put you in the car. Normally what I like to do with people that are relocating, if you can get here, if it's convenient, come here. We'll meet at my office here in the village of Arroyo Grande, and we'll jump in my car and I'll drive you around all of the microclimates and all the towns and everything. That's a potential match for you. That way, if you have to go home and you don't live here, you're relocating, once you've driven the area, you have a pretty good concept of where you want to be. And then that way, when we get you set up on an MLS search on our local MLS systems, then when the houses come up in the area that you're familiar with, it's going to click, it's going to make more sense. Now, if you can't get here, I understand. I work with relocation people often. I've actually handed people keys to their new property that they've purchased, and they've never even been to California. And that's okay too. What I do in that case is I do video just like this. I'm an FAA drone pilot, so I'll fly my drone around town to show you around. I'll fly over neighborhoods to show you what the neighborhoods look like in proximity to the hills, to the lake, to the ocean. So that's going to be very, very helpful. Okay. So another big mistake that people make is not understanding the price points here on the Central Coast. So if you are in Lompoc and you're looking for a home, and let's take a look at Lompoc. It's inland. We're just going to go into a neighborhood. It's a cute little neighborhood. Now, this is Santa Barbara County, so it's really far away from San Luis Obispo. It's definitely not San Luis Obispo County. But you can see things are kind of quiet here in Lompoc. It's a nice town. It is close to Santa Barbara. It's very close to Vandenberg Space Force Base. Now, the prices in Lompoc are significantly cheaper than they are in other parts of the Central Coast. So as we go north from Lompoc, the prices are going to go up. Orcutt right here is more expensive than Lompoc. Orcutt's also one of the more expensive parts of Santa Maria. It's a very highly sought after area. People really like to be down here and enjoy all the food and the walkability in Orcutt. It's a cute little town. It's an old established little town and people really like it. You can see how quiet it is down here. This is Clark Avenue, goes down to the restaurants and all the quaint little stores. So you can see the Lompoc, or excuse me, Orcutt is a neat little town. Santa Maria is hit and miss. There are a variety of different neighborhoods in Santa Maria. We have old established neighborhoods with older homes. We have a lot of condos and townhomes. We have the Santa Maria Country Club. We have so much variety in Santa Maria that you really can't just generalize if Santa Maria is an expensive or not so expensive place to live. However, once we leave Santa Barbara County, so Santa Maria is right on the border of Santa Barbara County, and we get into San Luis Obispo County. Nipomo is the first little town that we're going to see. You can see it's a big sized town. It has a couple of golf courses, has Monarch Dunes, and Black Lake that has actually 3 courses. Nipomo is inland. It's warmer. We get that San Luis Obispo weather, and it's San Luis Obispo County. Nipomo has some bigger lots, it's bigger homes, and it's going to be more expensive for the most part than Santa Maria and Lompoc. Now, as we move up north into the southern part of San Luis Obispo County, this is called South County down here, or the 5 cities, which is Arroyo Grande, Grover Beach, Pismo Beach, this whole area, Oceano. Now, prices, because you can see we're coming up the 101, we're getting closer to the beach, and so prices do get more expensive here in the 5 cities. Now, it's not a hard rule that the prices go up just because you're closer to the beach, because Oceano down here has some expensive homes, but it's also typically more affordable than Arroyo Grande, which is inland, Pismo Beach, and Grover Beach, which is right in here in between the two. So if this is the place for you in the 5 cities of the South County, I always recommend that people look at all of the cities. Even though they say, I want to 100% want to live in Arroyo Grande, look at all of them because they're so close to each other. Your dream house might really be in Pismo Beach, with the exception of Arroyo Grande, because this is all Arroyo Grande too. It's really big. Once you get on the east side of Arroyo Grande and go up towards Lake Lopez, then that's where you can get some really big lots, multiple acres, big ranches, big farms. And once you're out to the east of the 101, you're going to get more sun. So again, there's just not a hard set rule around here, but this is why we want to ask the questions, listen to the answers, and pay attention and record them. So again, that's why I really suggest that you fill out my questionnaire if you're considering a move to the Central Coast. Now, again, pricing, Pismo Beach and Shell Beach and Avila Beach, this tends to be our highest price point per square foot. But these cliffside homes are very, very popular. You get amazing views of the water, sunsets, great location. So houses are very expensive there. And then Avila Beach, houses get really, really expensive. Over 1,000 square foot here, folks. And down south and out to the east, we could be half that or even less price per square foot. So we kind of covered that. Then once you get up to San Luis Obispo is pretty expensive, very competitive price-wise with Pismo and Shell. Morro Bay, Los Osos, Cayucas, these are expensive as well because of their location, the proximity to the water, and the demand from people out east. Once we get up into Atascadero, Templeton, Paso Robles, those homes tend to be more affordable on a price per square foot basis. But then again, once we're up there, there's a little bit more space. We have larger homes, we have larger lots. And so you can still spend a lot of money up there, just not on a per square foot basis. Okay, so now in general, and I can show this to you, when you're looking for a home, the neighborhood may or may not be really important to you. Here's a really good example. I live in Grover Beach. I bought my house 8 years ago, a nice quiet neighborhood, brought in the family, tennis courts across the street. Grover Beach changed the tennis courts into pickleball courts, and they removed my quiet neighborhood and turned it into a loud neighborhood that has pickleball noise all the time. Now, if you're looking to relocate a family with young children, if you're looking to work from home, my house isn't going to work for you. My Grover Beach neighborhood is not going to work for you because it's too loud. Now, you might, if you're working from home, you might want to be up in Cambria. You might and have lots of space, and you don't have to go anywhere. So you can live in the forest in Cambria. You can live in the forest in Arroyo Grande. You get to choose where you want to be. So let's just make sure we get the right neighborhood, because also a neighborhood in Pismo Beach is probably going to be a really different feel than a neighborhood in Paso Robles or on the east side of San Luis Obispo or the eastern side of Arroyo Grande. You're going from, in just a matter of miles, you're going from a quaint little beach town, chill surf people, to ranchers. And I'm not ripping on these guys or anything, but I know it's really convenient to look for properties on outside real estate websites. I won't even mention who they are. You know who I'm talking about. You want to pay attention to what you're looking at. Those outside sources, if it's not specifically direct MLS search or MLS portal that's been set up by a realtor like me for you, then those outside sources are going to show you some inaccurate information. One, they're not going to talk about climates. They're not going to talk about any of the things that I just addressed with you. But I think most importantly is that when you go on those sites, you'll see a lot of inventory available. The reason behind that is they don't take the homes down after they've sold, after they're put under contract in escrow. They still show them. So you can get really excited about a house you see on the website, and it sold 2 years ago and it's not even available. So you want to work with someone like me. I'll set you up on a current MLS search. And there's two advantages to that. One is I'm not going to show you anything that's already sold or under contract. I'm going to show you what's active and what's most important, the properties that are coming soon. Realtors on the MLS system have access to properties that are not available now. They're coming soon, very soon. And those other websites, they don't get the coming soon information. So it's like insider tip when you're working with a realtor. So call, text, email me, fill out my questionnaire if you're making a move. Let me know if you have any questions. When are you going to be in town? What videos do you want to see next? Let's keep in touch. So that concludes our map tour and why you want to pay attention to this and why you want to fill out my questionnaire and get in touch with me if you're considering a move to the Central Coast. Now, it's your choice who you hire as a realtor. I'm just saying, start with me. I have the systems to get you in the right place for the right price at the right time.